Alright, here we go. Setting up for a not so quick final leg. It's going to be 3 out of 3. Going from Salt Lake to Aspen today. So, should be a fun time. Just going to get configured here. So we're going to get our cowl flaps open here. Everything in. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and fuel all the way up before getting out of here. And we'll start on our left tank. Cool. 1/8 of an inch on the throttle. Beacon comes on. Make sure that our prop is clear and our parking brake set. Cool. There we go. Awesome. Engines on. Instrumentation can come on. I'm going to put our taxi lights and our nav lights on. So, this is going to be potentially a really interesting flight. You can see we have pretty low ceilings here in Salt Lake, and there are a bunch of different air mets in effect right now. So, there's low turbulence along our route, there's icing, moderate icing, there's mountain obscuring clouds, so a lot of fun. But we're going to give it a go and see what happens, and hopefully should be a pretty good time. Really simple routing today, at least really simple routing that I've filed. We'll see exactly what we get. But just flying to the Maitan VOR and then the Red Table VOR.
We got distracted here, taxied the wrong way. Can we have another clearance to cross 22?
Foreign Plastic, cross runway 22 at Bravo, continue via Charlie and Alpha.
And we are connected to Pilot Edge. They're open until for another 2 hours and 15 minutes. So I think we'll be able to get this flight done in time. It's only about 260 miles, so it should be about an hour and a half total from wheels up to wheels down. Okay, so I'm going to lean out the mixture a little bit now that we're on the started up and we're on the ground. Pitot heat is going to come on. Okay, you can come on for now. Let's go ahead and start programming. So first of all, we're going to clear all this out. And we are starting here at Salt Lake. And then we're going to Maitan, which is MTU. And from MTU, going to the Red Table VOR, which is DBL. And from there into Aspen. So I've got the time set up right now so that we are departing just before sunrise. So we'll be getting into Aspen when it's light out, which is good. Because the weather at Aspen is not fantastic. Relatively low cloud bases. And most of the procedures are not authorized at night without prior training, and there are some secret FAA procedures for some of the airlines and companies that fly in there. Cool. So we are all programmed up. Clearance delivery is 127.3. Gonna go ahead and give clearance a call and get ready to copy any route changes or anything like that. The biggest thing I'm interested in is how the departures are going to work.
Whiskey, advise when you've got the weather at Bowers Field, say approach request when able.
So we'll let him get through this interaction and we'll give him a call.
Five Whiskey, correction, November 4 Whiskey, roger, and where did you want to pick up the approach from? For Lima Whiskey, roger, after Dofco cleared, Bard Ave, runway 25 approach, report established on the final approach course inbound. Eclipse 4-1 Papa, contact Chinook, departure.
Contact departure 1 Papa.
Alright, gonna call him up now. Salt Lake clearance Bonanza 401 Tango Sierra with the weather IFR to Aspen.
November 401 Tango Sierra, Salt Lake clearance, roger. I'm working on a full route clearance for you. What you have filed and the altitude is not going to work. What is your aircraft type?
We're a single engine piston, Bonanza V35.
Okay, just be advised the identifier for that is BE35, and I'm assuming that there's no way you're actually slant Lima in that there's no way that that's RVSM capable. I'm going to show you a slant Golf. Do you have a GPS on board?
Yes, we should be slant Golf.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why
Tango Sierra, also, 13,000 is just not going to work. I can't get you to Mighton at that altitude. You're going to have to get up to, just looking at the minimum vector altitudes in the mountains that are to the east of the field, I'll have to get you up to at least 15,000, preferably 17,000 to get over the top of that.
Yeah, we can do 17. 15 would be preferable if that's possible.
One Tango Sierra, okay, roger. I'll get back to you in just a minute.
Cool. Yeah, I figured there would be some changes.
November 3141 Papa, Chinook, departure, radar contact.
Yeah, so technically we clear the terrain at 13,000, but it's below ATC's minimum vectoring altitude, so for IFR, that's not going to happen. And we have to go at IFR because of the cloud decks and the terrain, which kind of sucks.
Eclipse 41 Papa, contact Seattle Center 132.6.
But if we have a relatively slow airspeed, we can still maintain around 800 feet per minute in the climb, which
Seattle Center, climb and maintain 15,000.
Isn't terrible.
Alright, Bonanza 1 Tango Sierra, full route clearance available, advice ready to copy.
1 Tango Sierra is ready to copy.
Number 1 Tango Sierra cleared from the Salt Lake City, correction, cleared to the Aspen Airport to be the Salt Lake City 4 departure, radar vectors to Mighton, Victor 200, Meeker VOR, that's Echo Kilo Romeo, Victor 108, Red Table VOR, direct, climb via the SID, departure frequency 135.5, squawk 2254.
Okay, clear to Aspen, Salt Lake City 4 departure, vectors Mighton, Victor 200, Meeker VOR. Then that's, give me the route after Meeker.
One Tango Sierra, after Meeker, Victor 108, Red Table VOR.
Okay, great. Clear to Aspen, Salt Lake City 4, vectors Mighton, Victor 200, Meeker, Victor 108 to Red Table VOR, then direct Aspen. Departure frequency 135.5, climb via the SID 2254 in the box for 401 Tango Sierra.
Bonanza 1 Tango Sierra, readback is correct. I'll try to, I'm going to have to vector you a little ways to the south of the field. We're departing north right now at Salt Lake. I'll have to vector you down south and then get you around some higher areas of terrain to keep you at a lower altitude. For now, though, expect a 15,000 on the initial part of the routing.
Alright, we'll expect 15,000, and we appreciate the help there. Thanks for 1 Tango Sierra.
Roger.
Cool, 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 cool. So, procedure, departure, Salt Lake City 4. And then we're going to be going Maitan, then Victor 200. I got so close to reading it back correctly the first time. So disappointed in myself that I couldn't. My crummy handwriting. Okay, so we're Meeker V Victor 108. And then Red Table VOR DBL. Then KSE. Great. I'm gonna climb via the SID. We're gonna get 15,000, hopefully. And let's go ahead and look at Salt Lake 4. So it sounds like he's going to vector me, but I'm going to be probably departing runway 35. So I'll climb heading 343, or as assigned, maintaining 10,000 or an assigned lower altitude, which I imagine I'll probably get given the fact that I'm in a single engine piston. Cool. And I'm going to be expected to be vectored to the south to get over terrain. Which is, yeah, that all makes sense. Okay, so 2254 is my squawk code. Oh, you should have been off. 2254. You're all the way on. You're good. Let's go ahead and talk to ground. And we should be talking to 121.9.
Danza 1 Tango Sierra, you still on the Salt Lake clearance frequency by chance?
Affirmative.
1 Tango Sierra, just a slight amendment here. I just realized that if I can get you down to the Fairfield VOR south of the airport, you can pick up Victor 200 there. Minimum en route altitude along that, we can clear at 13. So if that works best for you, we'll just change the clearance Salt Lake City 4 departure vectors to the Fairfield VOR, Victor 200, rest of clearance unchanged.
Sure, what's the identifier for Fairfield again?
1 Tango Sierra, it's going to be Foxtrot uniform.
Okay, so clearance amended to get Salt Lake City 4 departure vectors to the Fairfield VOR, and then Victor 200, and then as corrected for 401 Tango Sierra.
1 Tango Sierra, roger, read that correct, and expect 13,000 as your final altitude now.
13,000, thanks for 401 Tango Sierra. We're going to go over to ground now.
Roger.
I didn't finish changing that. Oh man, really terrible time to need to go to the bathroom. Well, actually, I guess a good time because we're still on the ground. There could be worse times. Okay.
Delta 1744, contact LA Center 133.55, solo.
Okay, I know what I'm doing. That gets me a lower altitude, which is awesome. Very glad that he got that done for me. Okay, I am on ground. And I am at TAC Air. And I'm ready to taxi with the weather. And that's exactly what I'm going to say. Salt Lake Ground Bonanza 401 Tango Sierra with the weather at TAC Air, ready for taxi.
November 401 Tango Sierra, Salt Lake Ground, runway 35, taxi via Kilo.
35 via Kilo, 401 Tango Sierra. Okay.
1 Tango Sierra, so the transponder code should be 2254.
2254, we're going to correct that now for 401 Tango Sierra. That's corrected. Brakes released, we're going to Guess dodge the Cessna to the right of me. And go, let's just do a loop. Cool. This will get us on a kilo. And we're practically already at 3.5. So, nice short taxi. I'm going to go ahead and put in 334. And also put in our initial altitude, which is going to be 10,000, or if we're assigned a lower altitude by tower.
Report cancellation of IFR or missed approach this frequency. Change to advisory frequency approved.
Clear right and clear left, turning left onto kilo. Nope, 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 didn't want you to do that. I'm going to do an initial 1,000 feet per minute climb. I'm not going to worry about course yet. Can I turn off reflections? It doesn't do anything there. Okay. That's fine. Kilo. And we're going to be making a turn off right here. Tower is 118.3. I get a little bit nervous. I know this is going to be a little bit sketchy. It's already been a learning experience. Salt Lake Tower, Bonanza, 401, Tango Sierra, holding short 3.5.
Remember 401 Tango Sierra, Salt Lake Tower, wind 300 at 7, runway 35 cleared for takeoff.
3.5, clear for takeoff, Bonanza 401, Tango Sierra. Okay, brakes released. Strobe, landing. Taxi comes off. Check the approach path and check the runway. Everything looks good. I'm going to go ahead and preemptively put my prop de-ice on. Just use all the battery, because why not? And away we go. Alright, rotate. Okay, and I'm not looking for 334, I'm looking for 343. That's 343 right there. Heading mode comes on. Oop. And autopilot, and engage, and vertical speed mode. A little late on the gear, that's fine. There we go, make sure it wasn't fully in. Okay, so we're on our 343 heading, and we're climbing to 10,000 feet, just like the SID asked us to. Our departure frequency is going to be 135.5. I'm going to go ahead and program that in right now. Also worth noting that I updated ForeFlight and failed to update the onboard GPS, which is
1 Tango Sierra, contact Salt Lake departure.
About to be a pain in the ass. Over to departure, 401 Tango Sierra, Salt. Salt Lake departure, Bonanza, 401 Tango Sierra, 5,300 for 10,000 on the Salt Lake City 4 departure.
Remember 401 Tango Sierra, Salt Lake departure, radar contact.
That radio call was long. And take this down to 800 feet per minute. I'd like to get a little bit more speed here. Also going to go ahead and get down to 2,500 rhythms. And I am just going to lean the mixture just a tad here. Cool, and we are on a 343 heading. And we're going up to 10,000. Doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Bonanza 1, take us here, climb and maintain 13,000.
Up to 13,000, 401, take us here. Okay, up to 13,000. Alright, so we're basically good to climb this slow. Our VX speed is 70.
Bonanza 1, take us here, turn left heading 260.
Left to 260, Bonanza 1, take us here. Okay, that's a left-hand turn to 260, continuing our climb to 13,000 feet, currently passing 6,500. Engine instruments look good. Haven't encountered any icing so far, but we're not in the clouds yet. Looks like they're a little higher than I thought. We're about to get there though. We're definitely kind of pokey, but we're still we're making good vertical speed, and that's really what matters right now. So, ooh, yeah, you should totally spend a couple days in Colorado. Colorado is like an amazing place that I've never been, but almost everyone I know, because it's like the destination spot for Midwest folks. So when I was living out in Iowa, everyone would go to Denver all the time. And I know a lot of people that move there and love it. So yeah, you should totally go. Seems like a cool place. The deck angle is pretty wonderful on this. Slash a little bit terrifying. I'm going to take this down to 700 feet per minute.
Number 224, Lima Whiskey, Seattle Center, IFR cancellation received, taker.
Yeah, we really should be aiming for like a 96 for best rate. Definitely pokey here. Let's go ahead and lower this down to gasp 500 feet per minute. We've already done a pretty bang up job. We're already at 8,000 feet, so... And we still have to get vectored all the way to the south, so we don't have any terrain considerations to be concerned with. So we're definitely going to get up to 13,000.
Turn left heading 160.
Left 160, Bonanza 1, take us here. Alright, beginning our left-hand turn to 160. So far, I don't know, I psyched myself out a little bit in the first place, because this is a very ambitious flight for a single engine piston like this, but the performance is good enough where it shouldn't be a problem. About to get into the clouds now, so we'll say goodbye to our beloved Salt Lake. That's going to disappear out the window pretty soon here. Could be a real try-hard and report the ceilings to him, although in a simulator environment that really doesn't matter. The sun's starting to peek out here because everyone's weather is rendered a little bit differently. Some people aren't using real-world weather, all that jazz.
Let's 4-1 pop across zoomer at 10,000, Spokane altimeter 29901.
But so far, so good. While we're hanging out here.
1 Tango Sierra, proceed direct to Fairfield VOR, join Victor 200 on course.
Direct Fairfield, join Victor 200 on course, Bonanza 1 Tango Sierra. Okay, that's 116.6. And let's get a course to it. That looks pretty good. And let's get into nav mode.
Yeah. 2255 Seattle.
While we're doing this,
clearance available, advice ready to copy.
Let's go ahead and fix all this. Oh, whoa. Whoa, look at all that old crap that didn't get cleared out.
Air 2255, clear to Reno Airport, Sumo 1 departure.
So I'm going to go ahead and add
Lima Kilo Victor transition. Be direct to Hart, that's Hotel Alpha Romeo Tango Tango. Hart 1 arrival. Climb via the SID, accept maintain 900,000. Departure frequency 120.4, squawk 5331.
Panel. So now we're on Victor 200 in the programming. So PANEL.
Air 2255, after the Lima Kilo Victor VOR, direct to Hart, Hotel Alpha Romeo Tango Tango, then the Hart is 1 arrival.
Okay, so that's panel. After panel Nanti rather. Oop.
Air 2255, climb via the SID, maintain 900,000. The rest of readback correct.
Great. Nanti, and then Maitan. And to you. Is that Maitan or Mitten? Mitten kind of sounds right, because it sounds like mittens. And this is a cold, mountainy place. Forgot how he pronounced it. To look that up. Mike Tango uniform. Oh. Cool. And then we continue on Victor 200. Let's just check back in, how we're doing. Oh, we're doing great. We actually have a little bit of an excess speed here. I'm gonna go ahead and increase our rate of climb. But I need to be pretty diligent about checking back with that. Also, clouds aren't too bad here. They seem to be kind of breaking up, which is great for us. I'm going to go ahead and turn my prop ice, or de-ice off. And I'm going to keep the pitot heat on.
Eclipse 41, Papa contact, Spokane approach 123.75.
No, you should totally rent a car. Rent like a cheap car and then get like a really inexpensive Airbnb out in the woods. That sounds like fun. I gotta do that again now that it's getting a little colder. Gotta take a trip back up north. Find a nice little cabin. Bring my synthesizer and a laptop. It's pretty darn perfect. Everything's looking good. Actually, performance-wise, we're doing a little bit better than I expected up here. We're at 11,000 feet.
123.75, 2375.
So we've got 2,000 feet to go. That's nothing. But we definitely need to reach that before we get onto Victor 200 in order to be above the minimum en route altitude, which is 13,000.
Number 314 Papa, looking at approach, roger.
Anyways, let's get back to this.
Well,
so after MTU,
just let me know.
Fecye, F-E-C-Y-E. Let's try and do these in our
runway 5 actually in use now. The winds are slightly favoring that. Expect vectors to the ILS runway 5 approach. That works for you. Fire correction, I'm sorry, ILS runway 3.
And then we're looking for OHEAP.
1 Papa roger, expect vectors to the ILS runway 3 approach. Visibility 3/4, runway 3, touchdown RVR showing 6,500 as of now. No braking action reports received.
Then we're looking for Bongo. And as we're typing this in, I've placed the GPS window right above the airspeed indicator for a reason, because I can see we're getting a little low here. So I'm going to go ahead and take it back to 500. Should be able to make 13, no problem. 1,000 feet to go. It's going to be another 2 minutes. Which is spot on, because we're just like a third of the way to Fairfield. Okay, so after Bongo is Racer. I know Racer. And after Racer is the Meeker VOR, which is EKR.
Eclipse 41 Papa, fly heading 080 vectors to final, descend to maintain 5,000.
Great, and after Eager, or Victor 108 to Red Table, and that's a short one, so that we just have one fix, which is True L. Is the True L. That is us. And after True L, I guess we do have a couple more fixes. Lilxo. Man, there are a lot of really hard to pronounce ones. Up this way. That's Lilxo. Cool. And one more Ajax. That one's easy.
Eclipse 41 Papa, descend to maintain 4,100.
Oh, watching our speed here. We are at 13,000 feet. We should be leveling off.
1 Papa, no, you should be okay there. I'll probably turn you on within the next minute and a half or so.
We are well, our vertical speed's going down, but we're not necessarily leveling off. I'm going to go ahead and put prop de-ice on. I think we're having some performance issues here. Because we are well below 0 and in the clouds. That's going to come on and stay on for a little while. Glad I caught that. Should have caught that a little earlier. Ajax, then the Red Table VOR, which is DBL. When you're leveling off and your performance still really sucks,
589 San Francisco ground pushback approved on
that's a good sign that you've got some icing going on. And indeed we did. And from DBL we're going to go direct to Aspen. K-A-S-E. Let's just browse that. All that's good to go. Right now we are direct Fairfield. And I'm going to go ahead and switch to GPS mode here. That way we will continue to follow the rest of our route.
60, maintain 4,100 until established on the localizer. Clear ILS runway 3 approach.
Cool, so we are hanging out here at 13,000 feet. Our speed is gradually increasing. We are currently out of the clouds, but we do have some more clouds coming up. I'm just going to keep the prop de-ice on
I'm sorry, what were you thinking of?
Rear lights can come on, and these overheads can also go off. Sorry, rear lights can go off and these overheads. And I'm just going to run through some quick checks here.
We're on top of turn left now, heading 050, intercept the localizer.
Great. How are my cylinder temps? Not bad. We're going to
4,100 until established on the localizer. Cleared ILS runway 3 approach.
Landing lights can come off now. Those could have come off a while ago. Cool. Everything else is good. I am going to touch mixture now. So for my cruise profile, I'm looking for 55% power, 2100 RPM, 21.6 inches manifold pressure, aiming for about 150 true at 11.5 gallons per hour. Right now, what are we showing? We're doing 136 above the ground, and we are showing 140, which isn't great. Anyways, let's go ahead and take you down to 2100. We're going to lean the mixture, looking at our EGTs. Oh, that's my power. There you go. Aiming for about 11.5 gallons per hour here. Should start to see the EGT rise. There we go. Cool. I feel pretty good there. We're holding steady at 140 knots. Hopefully, some of that performance, at least over the ground, might improve. I think we're going to have more of a tailwind once we turn east. If I remember the en route winds correctly. Oh, yeah. Yeah, your dog would love Colorado. Sorry, I'm just catching up to the chat. Yeah, I gotta take my dog more places. He doesn't... My car is not well suited for him. Because he absolutely ruins the leather. So I have to get the seats down and everything. And then I gotta put a blanket down, and then I gotta anchor the blanket, because otherwise he'll screw it up. And then I gotta... basically have to lift him in to the back, because it's tall enough where he can't jump in himself. And I haven't bothered to build a ramp yet. So I just take all 120 pounds of him and just throw him in.
Runway
so it's a little awkward.
Touchdown RVR 6000, decreasing midpoint rollout both 6,500. Clear to land, runway 3. And
man, those weather conditions sound kind
base report and braking action report.
Crappy. Oh, he is asking for bases and braking action. I did not know that they did that. That's good to know, though. Also, yes, yeah. I would love to take my dog in a plane. I think I shared with you the helicopter pilot. I forgot his name. Super popular on YouTube. Does some stuff with Casey Neistat every now and again. He's got a dog. His dog is perfectly trained to hang out in a helicopter. Knows how to use his... ear protection and everything. It's great. Alright, let's take a look out the window. Not a lot going on. Cloud cover isn't too terrible. We're pretty good out of it, so I'm going to go ahead and take the prop de-ice off. And we'll just watch our speed really closely.
Redwood 589, runway 1 left, taxi via Alpha Mike 1.
Okay, so we're about to do a pretty sharp left-hand turn eastbound onto Victor 200. So that should happen relatively quickly. We are at 13,000 feet. Mercifully. Just gonna quickly adjust my altimeter there to reflect the current weather. Excellent. So far this is going a lot better than I was expecting. I was expecting some rough air, more severe icing, but so far this has been pretty good. See what's going on the internet. Not a lot. What's going on Pilot Edge? Here's our big scary turn. So far not looking too scary, which is great. And there are a lot of folks on the network, mostly SoCal. There's a guy up in Boise, Jesus, Boise, and there's someone
there. VFR traffic, 1 to 2 o'clock, 4 miles southbound, altitude indicates 12,500, type unknown.
Breaking out of the clouds now, looking for Bonanza 401 taking us here. Alright. Well, we actually might be in more clouds. Let me see if I have him on TCAS here.
Pop, Roger. Taxi via Alpha to the terminal and monitor ground point 9er. Thanks for the reports.
Select departure Bonanza 1 taking us here. I've got 3 aircraft off my right wing. So I've got that guy low.
One take us here, Roger. Yeah, the nearest guy should be opposite direction, just off your right wing, 12,500 indicated. There's another target, 3 o'clock, 8 miles northbound, indicating 13,500. No one else should be a factor for you at this time, though.
Okay, great. I've got all that traffic in sight for Bonanza 1 taking us here.
Thanks.
Cool. Those guys are good.
Redwood 589, San Francisco Tower, runway 1 left, cleared for takeoff, 1260 at 7.
For some reason, I am missing my little traffic button on ForeFlight. So I guess I need to double check to make sure Pilot Edge is sending that to the right place. But I did get visual contact with them, so that's good. Those must be drones too. Yeah, because I don't see them on the Pilot Edge map. That's good to know. That's actually one of the great things about Pilot Edge. They have a bunch of VFR and like military drones that they record. I've done a handful of those actually out in the Western Expansion area. But those help give add some dynamics to what's going on. Especially when you've got like some clouds and crap like this. It's a good practice. Alright, everything's looking pretty good here. I am going to go ahead and swap tanks. I'm at 3/4 on the left hand side, so I'm going to swap on over to the right. And just set like a 20-minute timer. Let that run. I see the terrain over here. I know that it's not going to be a problem. Highest terrain over my flight path is at 11,000. Is that right? 11,800? No. 8,700 is the highest point. No, I'm actually correct. So the highest point along the route is 11,800, in the immediate vicinity, the stuff that's right in front of me, that's only at 8,800 or so. Man, ForeFlight, crazy useful tool. But I am definitely happy we were able to stay this low rather than getting all the way up to 15 or 17,000. Especially 17,000. 17,000 is really, really hard in this airplane. You'll get there, but you will not get there fast. Mountains just popping up from underneath the clouds. Anyways, but the routing is nice to know about, that if I go via Fairfield, I can cheat 2,000 feet lower. That's really helpful information. So I'll keep that in mind. Because I don't want to be doing too many Salt Lake City to Aspen runs, but I do like flying to Aspen every now and again, and Salt Lake's pretty fun too, so good to have in my back pocket. Definitely
Redwood 589, contact NorCal departure.
Going to favorite this route.
Bonanza 1 Tango Sierra, contact Salt Lake Center 125.57.
2557 Bonanza 1 Tango Sierra. 2557.
Redwood 589, NorCal departure, radar contact, climb and maintain, flight level 1900.
Salt Lake Center, Bonanza 401, Tango Sierra, level 13,000.
Robert 401, Tango Sierra, Salt Lake Center, roger. Salt Lake City, altimeter 299.5.
905, thanks. Bonanza 1, Tango Sierra. Cool, and that's what our altimeter is indeed set at. Okay, so we are going through some more clouds here. So, gonna be looking for any speed drop here, RPM drop here, any sort of major performance decrease. Don't think we're gonna see it, although you can never be too sure here. So far, so good. Yeah, this is looking pretty decent. Man, the way that the clouds are right now, like there and there, it looks like I'm rolling to the left, but the clouds are just building up to the right. That's why you fly instrument in crappy weather, because you cannot trust even really basic things like knowing where the horizon is and whether or not you're turning. Because if you just like look like this, I would almost swear that I'm turning to the left in a left-hand roll, but I'm very much not.
Horizon Air 2255, Seattle ground, runway 16 left, taxi via Bravo.
Anyways, this is the boring en route portion of the flight. We should be starting our descent in about an hour. So hang tight there. In the meantime, we're just going to keep following Victor 200, then get to Meeker, then Victor 108, short little hop down to the red tail VOR, and then we're going to start figuring out exactly how we're going to get in. So let's go ahead and start thinking about that, because it's something we can do while we're here. Pull up Aspen's weather here. So right now, winds are calm, visibility 10, clouds overcast 8,000, temperature 2, dew point -2, altimeter 2,997, density altitude 8,174 feet. So I think that's actually improved from when I first checked on it earlier this evening. I think the clouds are a little higher. Let me just go ahead and throw some radar on here. And look at some TAFs. So current TAF. That's actually a little old. Let's look at the 4 a.m. Eastern TAF. We're expecting winds to stay relatively the same. Visibility drop down to around 6. And they are expecting clouds to be a little lower. Broken 4,500 and broken 14,000. With snow showers in the vicinity. So, that's good to know. But so far, not terrible for Aspen. Pretty gentle winds, not a lot of precipitation. So, all good things for us. But that being said, even with clouds at 8,000, so if that's 8,000 AGL, then that's going to be around around 16,000 MSL. So we might actually be able to come in on a visual, on the Roaring Fork visual. Otherwise, let's go through our options here. So at Aspen, for approaches, we can do the localizer, we can do the RNAV, we can do the Roaring Fork visual, like I said, or we can do the VOR DMEC. So I would definitely prefer the RNAV, because that's sort of the easiest way to do it. So RNAV, we'd start off at red table, go down to HEPIB, then Alex, and then MAFMU. And really simple procedure. You just descend in steps down to Alex, where you intercept the glide slope, and then down MAFMU. And that is offset quite a bit, so the approach course is 166. And the
Number 3141 Pop Aspen clearance. Clear to Colorado Springs Airport.
Oh, hey.
Departure. Red table transition that is filed.
Someone departing Aspen, that's pretty cool.
Squawk 5016.
Anyway, so the runway heading's like, like 150-ish. And so, if we're coming in at 166, that means we're making a left-hand turn after
Redwood
the
589, contact Oakland
missed
Center
approach fix.
167.45, sorry for the level off. November 415, read back correct.
And missed approach, that gets, what's the minimum? Minimums there is 10,220 and 3 miles visibility. So yeah, if we hit down to 10,220 feet and we don't see the airport, then we need to go around. We'll execute a missed approach. So that's our number one option.
Maintain flight level 390.
In the spirit of preparedness, let's go ahead and look at some of our others. So I've definitely flown the localizer DME Echo. So let's review that one. So let's see, you would turn into the Aspen localizer, and you could intercept that, or you could start at red table, but we'd have to make a left-hand turn. let's see, how would we do that? We'd probably start at Jargu. And so we'd probably go direct Lens, then from Lens to Jargu, then intercepting the localizer. We descend to within 7.1 DME of Aspen, no lower than 11,700 feet, where we'd intercept glide slope. And then our minimums there would be 10,200. So it's actually not too complicated. So you just fly the first localizer down, and then if you go missed, you do climbing right hand turn to Lindsay, just like you would in the other procedure, but instead of following the GPS, you would intercept a back course 303 radial from the PKN localizer. I forget exactly what PKN stands for. I think that's Pitkin. For Pitkin County.
Runway 314 on top, Aspen Tower, wind calm, runway 33, cleared for takeoff.
Anyways, so localizer DME echo briefed ish. Let's look at the VOR DME-C. So this one you go to red table, and we would have to fly a procedure turn. And then yeah, so we just use the, how would we be doing that? So we'd be flying the 163 radial off of red table. Yeah, and just using the red table VOR for our DME readings. Which is also, I believe, what the, that's how the fixes are defined for the RNAV approach as well. Same missed approach procedure though. We just do a climbing right hand turn with the Pitkin County localizer back course set to 303 degrees. Okay, so I know how to do all of these. And then the Roaring Fork visual is pretty straightforward. You just find the Roaring Fork River and sort of follow that in. So you typically start over the red table VOR, or I guess start further west over Mount Sopris, or further northeast, or sorry, further northwest over the Roaring Fork River before it forks off into the Frying Pan and the other southern fork of the Roaring Fork.
41 Papa contact, departure.
May just sort of fly that in, keeping inside the terrain. So the biggest thing is just glide slope. You're coming in really fast compared to your traditional approach.
Climb and maintain 17,000.
Anyways, it's really turned into quite a lovely day, which is great. There's a little heads up view of where we're at. That's some cool terrain over there. Looks like a little lake over there, maybe. I think that's an artifact. Is that a lake? Let's see. Yeah, there's no lake there.
Let's 4-1 Papa, turn right direct to red table, VOR, resume on navigation.
So let's look at the map. Let's see where that guy's going. He's going to Colorado Springs in an Embraer 50. Yeah. So he's going to be going eventually on the same airway that we are, just going the same direction we are, so we're not going to run into him. No extra traffic at Aspen for us, unfortunately. Although I wonder if there are any drones at Aspen. Probably not. Although maybe. I don't think I've seen any before. These ridges are really cool.
Horizon 2255, contacts the Seattle Center 126.6.
Ooh, alright, I'm going to take a quick break off mic. BRB.
There's our 2255 south, direction Seattle Center, Roger. Climb and maintain flight level 230. And the 1 Tango Sierra, contact Salt Lake Center 132.25.
3225 for 401 Tango Sierra. Great timing on the alarm.
Eclipse 41 Papa, contact Denver Center 118.57.
Oh, and I think I just screwed up the frequency.
Number 3141 Papa, Denver Center, Roger.
Salt Lake Center, can you give me the frequency again for 401 Tango Sierra?
1 Tango Sierra, it's 132.25.
3225 for 401 Tango Sierra, thanks. Denver Center, Bonanza, 401 Tango Sierra, level 13,000.
November 401 Tango Sierra, Salt Lake Center, Roger, and the vertical altimeter is 29er, 89er.
89er, thanks, 401 Tango Sierra. Blah, 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 blah. Cool, that's corrected. And I was going to switch fuel tanks, yes. Left fuel tank. And timer starts. Quick trip outside. It's pretty lovely. Even though it's not ortho, it's pretty good. Actually, no, that kind of looks like ortho. Yeah, this is a good looking airplane. Big fan of the Bonanza details. I think it's a pretty good looking plane.
Horizon Air 2255, contact Seattle, contact Seattle Center 135.15, 3515. Redwood 589, contact LA Center 133.55, Seoul. Horizon Air 2255, Seattle Center, Roger. Climb and maintain flight level 310. Remember 212 Charlie Foxtrot, NorCal departure, squawk 3002, maintain VFR.
Alright, let's see if I can squeeze some more performance out of this guy. I have a feeling it's possible. Because right now, engine is pretty much configured for an economy cruise. So let's go the opposite direction. So let's go all the way back up to 2500 RPM. We're going to keep our mixture where it's at, and we should see an increase to about 14.5 gallons per minute. Because we don't really need to be thrifty, because I ended up refueling at Salt Lake, which wasn't
Number 2 Charlie Foxtrot, radar
originally
contact 20
the plan.
miles
Anyways,
east of
let's
McClellan,
go ahead and give this a
VOR,
boost.
altitude indicates 2009 or 100. IFR clearance is on request, need a VFR climb above 3500 to get you that.
Needle's barely moving. Don't really think that helped a whole hell of a lot. Bummer. We're doing 176 over the ground, so that's good. We have a decent tailwind. But
Number 2 Charlie Foxtrot, clear to McClellan Airport as well.
Still have an hour to go.
Advise when you've got the weather there, say approach request will enable.
Interesting. So the minimum
vectors to the dash intersection.
Minimum vectoring altitude,
or
sorry, the minimum en route altitude on Victor 108 from Meeker to TBL is 14,000, which means we're gonna have to climb at some point, which isn't gonna be the funnest thing in the world. But maybe, if the weather is still where it's at right now, which is pretty good, well, once we get to Meeker, we can cancel our IFR, fly in the valleys, and over the Roaring Fork River, right into Aspen. That would be the fix. So we'll see if that's what we end up doing. That might be an elegant solution here. I mean, not that, you know, climbing up to 14 or 15,000 feet is a huge deal, but if I can descend a little bit earlier, shave off a little bit of time en route, that would be nice. Because it's a little bit late.
That's on Charlie Foxtrot, Roger.
It's 12:58, so that means we have another hour of coverage from Pilot Edge, and we have another 55 minutes estimated time en route. So, no delays here, otherwise we lose our ATC, which would be a bummer. while we're hanging out, let's go ahead and see if there's any updates in Aspen. There are. Clouds are about the same. Broken 8,000, overcast 9,500. So we're still looking at clouds being all the way up at 16,000 feet MSL, which is great. We'll be under that. Winds are still calm, which is excellent. Everything's good.
Let's 4-1 pop radar contact lost.
Ah, snap, I just realized I gotta go into the office early tomorrow. That's gonna be a bummer. Gotta fight a couple of fires before the rest of the folks come in. Well, glad I looked at my calendar and remembered that.
That's the 2 Charlie Foxtrot, turn left heading 260.
Also gotta finish booking travel to New York for Saturday. And then I got 1, 2, 3, 4.
Resident 2255 negative. The last call was not for you. Stay on course and at your assigned altitude.
5 meetings to set up this week. 5 external meetings in addition to the internal stuff. And I gotta get a proposal out this morning.
There before, but that 260 inspection was for another aircraft. Just verify, please. Okay, thank you.
Anyways, so quite a busy week. And I might even have like 6 productions that I have to plan, depending on how things shake out. I think that is a... I don't know if optimistic is the right word, because that doesn't sound like fun, but I think that's a generous interpretation of how my week's gonna go.
That's not 2 Charlie Foxtrot, descend to maintain 3,000.
let's see. Moving around stuff. Ooh, I do have some stuff I can archive though, which is always fun. Ooh, yeah, you're done.
Tango Sierra, contact Denver Center 120.47.
2047 for 401 Tango Sierra. Denver Center Bonanza 401 Tango Sierra, level 13,000.
Denver 401 Tango Sierra, Denver Center Roger, meter altimeter 29095.
905, thanks, Bonanza 1 Tango Sierra. Believe that's...
Cessna 2 Charlie Fox, left directed dash at 3,000, cleared ILS, runway 16 approach. McClellan, report established on the localizer.
Cool, slowly but surely getting there. I would love to get lower, but unfortunately we cannot. Because stupid terrain. Oh well. Man, it's crazy. We're technically really just like halfway there, but it feels like we should be... feels like we've made more progress. It's never not a terrifying sound. Alright, flip the tanks. How are we doing on... We're still doing about a 177 over the ground. Which I guess works. If only we could go a little bit quicker. Sadly, we cannot.
Charlie Foxtrot negative, cleared ILS 16 approach. That was the approach clearance after dash. Charlie Foxtrot, are you going to be able to pick up the approach now? Okay, thanks, Sam. Report established on the localizer inbound then. 2 Charlie Foxtrot, say again, I was coordinating. 2 Charlie Foxtrot, Roger. How will this approach terminate? Charlie Foxtrot, Roger. Radar service terminated. A report misperception frequency change to advisory frequency approved.
Oh boy. Someone just sent me a link to the coolest thing in the world. We're talking about how to do coverage for ice hockey. Also, I wonder if that audio hiccup was on stream or not, or if that was just me hearing it, but that sucked. And there's this awesome company called Sky Techno, and they just do techno cranes that are mounted from the ceiling or from truss or from, man, that's cool. Man, that's cool. Inverted telescoping camera crane. Oh man, just learning a lot about how to cover hockey. I'm really digging it. I wish I could just link out this post. It's really informative. Alright, well, not a lot going on here. I am going to go ahead and give... Actually, we are getting some clouds, though, so we'll watch out for some icing. Also, if those clouds stick around, that's going to screw up my visual approach plan here. Actually, on that note, I'm going to call center up and ask if I should be expecting a climb. Actually, before I do that, let me remind myself what Mocha is versus MEA.
South 2 Charlie Foxtrot, North Delta Departure, I did. South 2 Charlie Foxtrot, radar contact 2 miles north of McClellan VOR. Apply the published missed approach, say intentions when able. Charlie Foxtrot, roger. And did you want that clearance as soon as possible then down there, or are you planning to apply the missed approach for a bit?
Alright, yeah, because the Mocha, especially in mountainous terrain, is going to not be optimal for comms and receiving VORs. That being said, we're navigating via GPS, so that's less of a concern. Although we still want radar coverage from ATC as well as radio reception from ATC. So, I'll ask if he has a preference, or if we should expect a climb.
Sky 2 Charlie Foxtrot, read that correct. Advise when you have the weather at executive.
I think he's still in the middle of that interaction, so I'm going to leave him alone. I don't know, he's been kind of quiet, so maybe he's good. I'll go ahead and ask. Denver Center, Bonanza 401, Tango Sierra, I've got a quick question.
1 Tango Sierra, go ahead.
Yeah, 1 Tango Sierra, are we ahead of Victor 108? Should we be expecting a climb to meet the minimum en route altitude?
Take a Sirius, stand by. I gotta look into the MEAs. Stand by.
Roger.
1 Tango Sierra, yeah, show 14 is the MEA there between Meeker and Red Table. I was running a blank here. It's been a while since I've done any instrument training. 12.8 showing there with the star next to it. I think with a GPS you can actually stay at 12.8 or above, if I'm not mistaken.
Great. I believe that's my understanding as well. I think the difference between the MEA and the MoCA is just typically you would prefer me at the MEA for radio and radar in mountainous terrain for coverage.
1 Tango Sierra, yeah, that's my understanding of it too. At least that's what I was told by someone training up here where I live. I think you should be okay at 13 if you want to stay there.
Great. We'll stay at 13, and if we need to get up, just let us know and we'll do so for 401 Tango Sierra.
1 Tango Sierra.
Cool. I asked a question and I got a little bit of information, and it's great.
Cessna 2 Charlie 5
Learn it.
left heading 200.
So we're getting a little bit closer, thankfully. We're about 28 minutes out, which is great because I still have to pee. And the clouds have cleared up, which is nice. So we're going to stay at 13,000 feet. We're going to cross Red Table at 13,000 feet, and we'll plan on the visual, which is great. So just turn south after Red Table, follow the river in, nice steep approach. And the key with this approach, I mean the key with every approach, right, is energy management. And the key for this one is because it's so steep, I believe you really want to be configured right over your initial fix. So if you're starting your descent at Red Table, you really want to be fully configured for landing there. And then you do the descent, and that way you can sort of stay, it's easier to stay stabilized the whole way through, because it's a relatively high energy or high angle approach. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to continue our route here. If he would like us to have an instrument approach, we can go ahead and select the RNAV. Otherwise, we will, we'll cross Red Table at 13 and just go ahead and descend. Nice and quick. So we'll cross DVL, we'll do like a 90-degree right turn, we'll see the valley, we'll fly over the river, and that'll lead us right into Aspen. And I screw this up quite a bit when I fly it, unless I've been flying it recently, by staying a little bit too high, not being aggressive enough with the approach angle, and then eventually overshooting Aspen. So, key with this is to really get down pretty quick. Actually, we can do a little bit of napkin math, and we can know exactly how quick we're going to do that. So if we're going to be at Red Table, and we're going to be at Red Table at approximately 13,000 feet, and we know the field elevation at Aspen is, 9,000 feet? No, that's pattern, 8,000 feet. Then we need to make a reduction of 5,000 feet, and the distance line to line, or like point to point, is 13 miles. So like given the extra distance, it's probably more like 14 or 15, call it 15. And so if it's 15 miles at 180 knots, that's going to be about 5 minutes. So that means we need a descent rate of 1,000 feet per minute, which is about double typical 500 feet per minute.
Charlie Foxtrot actually amendments the altitude to maintain.
Oh man, Nick, we're so close, but I get it. I'm exhausted too, so have a good one. Catch the recording. Actually, I had to chop up the previous 2 flights and this one sometime this week, so if they can start shooting those out later at the end of the week and get back into a rhythm here of doing like a couple stream flights, chopping them up, throwing them up on YouTube, doing a couple more stream flights, and rinsing and repeating. Anyways, flying over Meeker VOR right now, we're going to make a right-hand turn south towards Red Table, and then towards Aspen. 25 minutes until wheels down, more or less. Maybe a little bit faster. Cat's in here looking for attention.
Two Charlie Foxtrot, say again.
Not a distraction at all. Yeah, I see a cat.
Two Charlie Foxtrot, affirmative, clear direct Sacramento VOR, cross that at 1,500 or above, clear to VOR, runway 2 approach.
That looked like a weather update. Speaking of that, let's check in the Aspen weather. Same weather as it was 30 minutes ago. No updates right now. Which is kind of what I expect. Time to switch up the fuel tanks, which is looks right to me. Back on over to the left tank. Hey, this is definitely ortho now, which makes sense because we definitely have some great ortho installed at Aspen. I think it's still not super high zoom level. I think it's still like 16 or 17, but it works pretty well. Oh man, I didn't install the updated Aspen scenery the guy was talking about. Jay, I believe. I will have to do that as soon as I'm done with this flight. And I'll have to do some more Aspen work, specifically calling out that airport, because the update looks really, really great. Yeah, we're really spoiled to have such a great freeware scenery out for Aspen, because it is such a fun place to fly. Got a couple good airports over there. You got Eagle, you got Denver. Denver's pretty cool. Do like a lot of little hops from Aspen to Denver, VFR, and it's a huge airport to fly into, VFR. Just taxi for days, depending on where you get in or where you get out.
That's a 2 Charlie Foxtrot report established on the.
But it's got some nice terrain to play with. You've got like a nice sort of set of ridges that you go over before you pop back into Aspen.
Horizon Air 2255.
But to the east is relatively flat.
Maintain probable 240.
And there's some good like little sightseeing stuff to do around the Denver area. I think if you go up north, there's some cool stuff too to poke around at. Overall, it's a really, really nice little place. And of course you have all the fantastic mountains. There's some more clouds coming up. Not so fun. That was a fun weather update. That was like a complete wind shift too. Alright, we've got 25 minutes of ATC coverage, still looking at 20 minutes in route time. We're going to have a descent, which is going to speed things up a little bit, but not really, because it's such a quick descent going from 13,000 down to 8,000. So, we'll see. That'll shave off like 30 seconds. That's really it. But we're maintaining our pace, which is good. We're not slowing down. We're not speeding up. Although speeding up would be nice.
Number 2 Charlie Foxtrot, under contact, executive tower 119.5.
But such is life. Such is life.
Number 212 Charlie Foxtrot, executive tower, under. How this approach, Germany? 2 Charlie Foxtrot, runway 2 cleared, low approach, report going missed, wind 140 at 4.
Anyways, but
Air 2255, contact Oakland Center.
Yeah, despite the slightly crappy weather here, everything else is going pretty well. This is going a lot better than I expected. I was expecting some... Well, I guess that's one of the things about X-Plane, is that, like, the weather engine is not perfect. I don't currently have... oh, what's the really popular weather add-on right now? Can't even remember the name of it, but I don't have that really popular, really expensive weather add-on installed. I do have it purchased, and I did have it running on X-Plane 10, but I just didn't. It would, for some reason, the
2255 Oakland Center, Roger.
Hey, not X-Enviro. No, you're right. It is X-Enviro. Yeah. So I was running that for a while, and then. Whenever like I would fly and approach, and the en route winds were kind of intense, they would the en route winds would show up low level. So instead of getting the actual surface winds, you'd be getting the winds from like 10,000 feet up. And it would ruin approaches all the time. So I just ditched X-Enviro full stop, which is a bummer because when X-Enviro first came out, I feel like the way that it did METARs and it read the weather was actually pretty superior to how X-Plane did it. And just besides the visual stuff, which definitely looked great. But then, like, yeah, like after like 6 months or a year or something, the way that it just read the weather, read the METARs was just really off, whether it was delayed or whatever. Even with like a super short refresh time. So that was just no fun. So I just straight up fly with default X-Plane weather. But I should probably give X-Enviro a try again, see if it's any better, see if there's anything that's changed. They haven't really made any updates to it that I know of, at least anything big. Certainly haven't heard about it. Maybe they've made some bug fixes or some small incremental upgrades, which would be lovely. Super appreciated. Oh, that's great. That is a lovely username, Town Alt with Wings. But that's good to know. I'll have to get that reinstalled because this is almost a fresh install. I only have like a couple planes installed. I still have all my old scenery, but other than that, it's like a clean install with the new system. So yeah, I'll have to get X-Enviro up and running and play with it, because especially like in situations like this, the way that X-Enviro does the clouds is really nice. And the default X-Plane is not terrible by any stretch of the imagination. It's so much better than 10 and infinitely better than like 9 and 8, but X-Enviro certainly is better. And the performance impact is minimal, almost non-existent, which is great. Yeah, the draw distance is kind of rough. You end up sort of just flying into like, oh, weather all of a sudden. And the other thing, I can't remember, I think this is more of a default problem, is like, you know, flying into like a Sockton airport where you can see the airport from like 15 miles away, but then you're like on short final and all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, there's no visibility here, so we're just gonna close it in on you. I haven't really experienced that lately in default weather, which is great. But I haven't really flown into too many Sockton airports. I've mostly been doing, well, I've taken a huge break, but since I've gotten back into it, it's really been mostly just tinkering around flying VFR, which actually is one of my favorite things. I mean, obviously ATC and flying IFR on Pilot Edge is wonderful, but flying VFR on Pilot Edge is kind of like the hidden gem, I think, of the service. Because you can either not talk to ATC, but you know that you're in airspace and you really have to watch what you do, because there are actually like real-world consequences. Or you can, you know, grab flight following and do sort of the interaction with ATC, fly out of busier airports, and you still get that experience, which feels super true to life compared to my experience flying out east IRL. And, you know, in terms of the interaction you have with ATC, super spot on, which is exactly what it's designed to be.
Charlie Fox trying again. I expect the RF runway 4 right approach.
Yeah, it was funny. I came from like doing a ton of ATSIM stuff, and so like flying big planes, IFR. Not necessarily big fans.
Aspen approach 123.8.
Over to approach 123.8 for 401 Tango Sierra Sol. So yeah, I was like super used to IFR, which is funny because like now I'm not at all. But like when it came to VFR, I was like very confused, which was funny because I was going through flight training at the time, and so like you'd think that I would have a better handle on it, but like a lot of stuff confused me, even basic stuff like airspace and reading charts and stuff like that. And Pilot Edge helped immensely. Aspen approach, Bonanza 401 Tango Sierra, 13,000. And I should have let him know that we have the weather.
401 Tango Sierra, Aspen approach, roger, verify information. Bravo at Aspen, and expect the localizer DME Echo approach runway 15. If you have another request, please advise.
Alright, we'll expect the localizer DME Echo, and we do have Bravo on board. No other requests for 401 Tango Sierra.
Thanks.
Cool. Could do something easy, but we're going to try doing something hard-ish. So this is going to be fun. So we're doing the localizer DME echo. We kind of halfway briefed this earlier, but we're going to get actually set up for it now. So let's go ahead and start editing our nav radios here. So the one that we want to have in our nav 1 is going to be 111.15. Excellent. And in my flow plan, I'm just going to add select an approach. Interesting. How is this naming stuff? So there's the VOR DME Charlie and there's localizer DME E.
The one Tango Sierra, after Ajax cleared localizer DME Echo, runway 15 approach.
After Ajax cleared on the localizer DME Echo, approach for 401 Tango Sierra.
Guy 2 Charlie Foxtrot report established on the final approach course inbound, and when able, how will this approach terminate?
Okay, so I'm going to say that's it. And we're going to start at
2 Charlie Foxtrot.
I'm going to ask for a direct Ajax. Oh, no, we are Ajax is on Victor 108. I know that. So we're and that's actually our next waypoint-ish. So we're gonna activate that. We're gonna go direct Ajax. Shouldn't have a turn, which was good. I'm just gonna set the heading bug, just in case. Need to bug out for whatever reason. Cool. So that approach is loaded up. I have the plate. We're going to go to Ajax.
Right, Air 2255, contact NorCal approach 119.2.
And then those fixes, and we're going to be following 111.15, which is in my nav 1. In my nav 2 radio, I'm going to have the Pitkin County VOR, or Pitkin County localizer rather, which is 108.5. Let's get that programmed in here, 108.5. Throw that in there. Coolio. And that back course is going to be 303. So we'll only need that if we do a missed approach, and if we do a missed approach, we'll do a climbing right-hand turn, intercepting the back course localizer at the Pitkin localizer, radial 303 radial to Lindsay. Then the red table VOR 244 radial to Gleno, and then we'll do left-hand hold on the north side of Gleno. Other than that, getting close to Ajax.
Cessna 2255, roger, expect that.
And once we're at Ajax, we are clear on the approach. So after Ajax, the next descent that we're going to do is going to be Kaiser, no lower than 12,900, then FIMSO, no lower than 12,300, and then at Doip, we are going to intercept the glide slope. Cool. So I'm just going to throw this on ForeFlight, so I know what I'm doing. And then procedure, approach, localizer, DME, echo, starting at Ajax, adding to routes, close, close, close. Delete red table VOR, not going to go there. Excellent, and the GPS is configured just like ForeFlight. Our nav radios are set. We go ahead and get tower frequency, which is 118.85, queued up. I think we might get another approach handoff, if I remember correctly. Might not. Cool. Okay, all the prep work's done. Oh, thanks. So I'm in the Eastern time zone, so it is just closing in on 2 a.m. Which is great, because I'm going to have to wake up in like 4 hours for work stuff to go in early.
Sorry, Foxtrot, I don't
But
have
that's
anything on the
fine.
video map for Vector 2, unfortunately. It'll have to be a full approach.
Okay, so as we get over Ajax here, we are going to get fully configured. So prop's going to go full, mixture is going to go full, and we're going to decrease our power. We're going to go ahead and get our landing lights on. Strobe lights are already on. No clouds, so not worried about prop DI. Speedo heat's going to stay on because we're at a pretty high altitude. Yacht amper's on. Gear is going to come down now that we're below 150.
For future reference, you'll be pleased to know that we are working on getting better video maps for NorCal.
So down.
Hopefully, in the not too distant future,
Autopilot
we'll have,
really doesn't like that. Did a really slow job at compensating. That's fine. It got really quiet now that we're slowing down. Full flaps, and we're going to aim for around 95 knots here. Slowing down to about 85. I'm going to go ahead and set 12,300, which is going to be what we're going to try and hit for FIMSO. And just go ahead and start pretty aggressive vertical descent here. Watching my speed and power and all that jazz. Actually, I want to not descend yet.
Right there, 2255,
premature.
maintain 9,000. Start looking for the airport, 12 o'clock in about 30 miles. Advise when you do have it in sight.
Okay. Gonna change the fuel tanks one more time, then I'm not gonna touch them. Cool. Pretty hazy out, so visibility is a little bit crap, but we definitely have more than 3 miles, so we're good on the approach. 10,220 feet is going to be our minimums here.
Right there, 2255
watch out for.
8,000 though.
Not worried about that because the clouds are above us. Cow flaps are going to stay closed for this. We're just passing, we're not passing, but we're approaching Yargoo. So we are technically like 70 feet lower than we're supposed to be, but I'm just going to kind of leave it as now. Crazy though, thinking about performance here, we're at full power, full everything with full flaps, and we're only doing 80 knots. So it's not ideal, it's not what it should be, but we're at the point where we're about to start our actual descent, so we're going to pick up the speed, I'm not worried. And our stall speed here is 55 knots dirty, so we've got a pretty wide margin. That being said, it's not the right thing to do, especially over mountainous terrain. We should have a little bit of excess energy here, just in case the engine goes out and we need to glide into Aspen. We could pretty much do that at this point if we were going a little bit faster, I think. Probably wouldn't be a problem. Even though the Bonanza kind of sinks like a rock when you don't have power. You know, feather the prop and hope for the best. That actually should be something that I practice in the near future. That'd be kind of fun. Doing some engine out work.
Then 1 Tango Sierra traffic, 12 o'clock, less than 3 miles, be passing left to right across the final altitude, indicates 12,500, unverified, type unknown.
Looking for the traffic, Bonanza, 1 Tango Sierra. Cool. What was I gonna do here? Nothing right now. Just gonna focus on the approach. So we're still just holding our 80 knots at full power here. Super wasteful. Burning 16.5 gallons of fuel per minute, but whatever.
I think it's here, traffic
per hour.
Passing up here 3 o'clock.
1 Tango Sierra, thanks. Okay, so over Kaiser, we're still supposed to be no lower than 12,900, so technically we're breaking the rules here, but that's fine. Then at FIMSO we can go down to 12.3, then DOIP is 11.7, and that's when we should intercept. So in a minute, things will start happening a little bit quickly, which is great. Definitely a little anxious to end this flight. I'm pretty tired.
So that's on 2 Charlie Fox. Okay,
so there's the valley.
Maintain VFR, same intention.
I believe that's the river. That's the road that runs through. Is that right?
2 Charlie Fox, okay, Roger.
Yeah, it's not the one that we'd be following in, but it's one of them. It's kind of an all roads lead to Rome thing around here. Alright, so we're about to pass over Kaiser.
Horizon Air 2255, contact Reno Tower 118.7.
That's Kaiser. I'm just going to scroll down here. Heading to Fimzo, so we can go ahead and continue our descent. And we'll just do step descents here. Okay, so we're looking for 12.3. My cat would really love to join us on final here.
Horizon Air 2255, Reno Tower, wind 030 at 4, runway 16 right, clear to lift.
Gonna start coming off the power here.
Yeah, 1 Tango Sierra, contact tower 118.85.
Over tower 118.85 for 401 Tango Sierra, so Aspen Tower, Bonanza 401 Tango Sierra on the localizer DME Echo approach at 12,300.
November 401 Tango Sierra, Aspen Tower, runway 15, clear to land, wind, call.
15, clear to land, Bonanza 1 Tango Sierra. Okay, so we've gone to our 12,300, and we're just about to cross Fimzo. So after that, we're going to be cleared down to 11,700. And that's actually about now, so 11,700. Gauge that, arm that, power. Cool, getting the glide slope, going to go ahead and put it in approach mode. Cool. And just watching our speed, looking for 85 to 90 knots. Yeah, Aspen is fantastic. My favorite thing when I was flying, I've done this a couple times in Pilot Edge, but mostly in VATSIM, was flying the Challenger 300 into Aspen at night. That was my favorite thing, and in my remarks I'd be like, we've got special permission to fly the visual approach at night, we've got forward-looking infrared. Super cheesy, but it was a lot of fun, and we just do it using the X-Plane's night vision mode. Alright, so I think we're above glide slope here, so we need to try and capture it. And just watching our speed. Really come off the power. There's the field. Definitely a little bit high. I'm gonna go ahead and disengage autopilot here.
Horizon Air 2255, exit right on November, join Alpha to the terminal ramp. Cross runway 7 at Alpha.
Alright,
hand fly this
right
down
on November,
to
join Alpha,
SAG,
cross runway 7 at Alpha to the ramp
get us
for Horizon
down here.
2255.
Horizon Air 2255, readback correct, and monitor ground 121.9er. On your way in, you have a good night, take care.
Going to 121.9 to monitor ground, and thanks
Still
for
a little
the
fast, so you're just going to adjust the power here. Have to cross over SAG, so we'll go ahead and get more or less lined up for our approach here and get a little out of trim here. See if we can fix that. Yeah, it's feeling a little better. Okay, and we did contact tower, we got our clearance to land. Quick gumps check here, gas is on the right hand tank, which is the most full tank. Undercarriage, our gear is down in 3 green, mixture is full, prop is full. Getting a little slow here. But other than that, everything's looking... things are looking good. Didn't completely overfly it, which is always nice. I feel like I'm crabbing though, a little bit. Definitely, well, I'm obviously not straight on. Let's fix that. Cool, speed's exactly where I want it to be. Yeah, it was a little hard. That's fine. I've got down sloping terrain here, which is fun. Let's get back on centerline, shall we? In my defense, my rudder skills are greatly inhibited right now because I have a cat on my lap, and I would like to not completely throw her off.
Bonanza 1 Tango Sierra, exit left, 1 bull monitor ground point niner. Take care.
Ground point niner 401 Tango Sierra. Thanks for your help tonight. We're just gonna pull in right here.
Sky 2 Charlie Foxtrot going to be closing up here, suspending operations for the night. Squawk and maintain VFR. Radar service terminated. Change to advisory frequency approved. Take care.
It is exactly 2 o'clock, so we actually ended up coming in just a little bit late. Anyways, other than that, great flight.
Time 0700. All pilot control positions are now closed. Class Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta airspace procedures no longer in effect. All airborne aircraft operating IFR monitor 122.75. All airborne aircraft within Bravo, Charlie, or Delta airspace monitor the appropriate advisory frequency. Pilots will resume normal operations at 1600 Zulu.
Cool. Alright, we are parked. Gonna go ahead and kick our avionics off. Hey, parking brake. Stay on. Thank you. Cool, you go all the way out, you go all the way out, you go all the way out. Well, whoa. Easy there. There we go. That wasn't a great shutdown. Cool. And beacon goes off. And that's everything. Cool, alright, well thanks everyone who joined me. So this is Aspen, and this is Kilo Alpha Sierra Echo, KASE. Just a little ways from Eagle, which is KEGE, and then over the hill from Denver, which is KDEN, DEN. Anyways, thanks for joining me. This was a solid hour-and-a-half flight from Salt Lake City to Denver. More or less pretty successful. Pretty solid approach and landing. Thanks, everybody.